All right. Looks like we're having a couple technical difficulties. Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me. And if we're all good. Welcome back to Crypto Unlimited 22 Saturday Night Live in DeFi. Make sure you guys all hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Just remember, we're not financial advisors. We're just here having a little fun, talking about crypto and DeFi, some of the plays that we're in the projects. Nothing that we say in these videos are ever financial advice. Like I said, we just share our journeys. Real quick, if you guys look in the chat, you can see that you got links to all of the projects we're in. Some of them are referral links. Like I said, you don't have to use them. They're just there to show you some of the projects we're in. We got Elephant Money Telegram. We got Spritz Finance. We got Elephant Money. Let's go through them quick. That's the Telegram for Elephant. We got Spritz. We're using Spritz Finance again. They are backing up and running with the referral system. They have a $20 referral system now. And basically, if someone wants to use a referral, their first 30 days, so the transactions they make, you're going to get 50% of their transaction fees, up to $20. And that's how the referral program is working now. But you can pay any bill with crypto, right? You can hook up your house mortgage, your car payment, your credit cards, your water bill, your mortgage, anything you'd like. And you can put it in manually, or they even do a scan for you. It is a KYC protocol. You can also off-ramp your crypto right to your bank account, which is I like about it. So you don't have to keep bridging and going through exchanges. So it's almost a one-stop shop. Go check out Spritz Finance. Thank you there. And Elephant Money. We just joined Elephant Money this week, Tuesday. We will get into that. Talk about Elephant Money. But right here's my partner link. You can update your partner at any time, which is cool about Elephant Money. So if you want to use mine, here's mine. Go check it out. Do your research. We got the Crypto Unlimited 22 Telegram and the group chat link right here. If you want to get in the group chat, we got a lot of healthy conversation in there. Definitely beginner friendly. Go check out the Crypto Unlimited 22 Telegram. ARKFI, we are still hanging in there, and we see the future of ARK Finance. They got a lot of stuff rolling out. They got external revenue rolling in. We'll be getting into that tonight, and we do still have our 100% AirDrop team. If you want to join this team, the link is right below here. Join this team. All you need is 100 BUSD to get yourself qualified for weekly airdrops. We've given away well over 1,000 ARK tokens already. All right, we also got the ARK prepaid air card. Make sure you guys, if you guys want to get ARKFI air card, go ahead and use this link. It's going to save you some money. It's on the fees when you're loading the card, and we'll talk about that also. We also got the Jenna Wallet. Jenna Wallet's donations only. You can donate BNB, BUSD, ARKFI, or DRIP. And it's going to be used to start a 501c3 nonprofit organization for suicide, alcohol, drug addiction. And again, we got the ARKFI Telegram here. And let's go. Let's bring up our first guest, my man, Jashawn Vanquish. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing good, Johnny. How you doing? Thanks for having me back.
Super great and getting better. Can't wait. Getting ready for vacation. Let's go. The Thunder from Down Under, Mr. Buy These Dips. How you doing, sir?
Very good, sir. Greetings and salutations of the highest order.
Yes, sir. And last but certainly not least, from the Crypto Cave, Mr. Donatello. How are you doing tonight?
Was good.
You good, buddy? How you been?
Being great. Happy to be back to the house in my safe haven. I've been traveling a little bit.
Your vacation's ended. Mine's beginning.
Enjoy it.
We all got to do it, man. All right. So got a lot to cover this week, guys. First things first, I want to talk. We recently got into on Tuesday after much discussion. We definitely took our time with this one. I did a ton of research, talked to the right people. People have mixed emotions on this, which is fine. We all got to make our own decisions. But we ended up getting into Elephant.money. It's a BT bank teller is the developer for this, but the guy who really convinced and talked to me personally. And actually, we had a stream earlier this week. Jashan was with me on Tuesday, and he jumped on, was SK Crypto K. Well known in the crypto DeFi space. He knows Elephant like the back of his hand. He went in and out on everything with me, explained it really well, broke it down for me. And to be honest, I can't argue what he was saying. The deep liquidity, the continuous chart going up. And for example, guys, I got a screenshot to prove it too. But I started my account. There's a 10% tax on buys and sells. But if you go in with an updated partner, it drops it to an 8.5%. I went in with just $500, so I went $550, so I covered the tax. So I started my account Tuesday with 501 in my Elephant BUSD value. It's over, you can see 2 billion tokens. And by today, Saturday, I'm already up $36 from when I started on Tuesday. So pretty cool to see. It feels good to wake up every morning and see that your balance continues to grow. Something I haven't seen in a minute around here in these DeFi streets. So it's sort of a breath of fresh air. I understand, people have their opinions on this project and protocol, and we will get into this. So why don't we start with you, Mr. J. Vanquish? Your thoughts on Elephant? You were another one that really cemented it and talked me into taking the plunge and diving in. So what do you think?
Yeah, sure. I think, like you were saying, I think it's all about perspective. Maybe, your past experience with different devs, which side of which, you were on during like exploit or with other protocols. But you can't lie with the price. Like you said, it's continually going up. The math is the math. And then SK was on earlier in the week on your channel, very articulate about it, explained it very well, very passionate about it. The community is very passionate. They're very welcoming. They're very friendly. Their Telegram, like you said, yours is very healthy. So is the Elephant Money Telegram, super healthy, super bullish. And when you look at that chart, the facts are the facts. That's what it's still doing. It's still pumping every day. So yeah, the math, and it's exactly what you said.
Absolutely. Mr. Bitey's Dips, you got any experience with Elephant Money?
No, I don't, my friend. But it's certainly looking pretty good. So I'm very happy for those that are in it.
Yeah, and Donatello, I don't think you're in it either, right?
I was in it back when at lunch. Like got in really early, back at the beginning. I followed BT for years, even on the Tron side, and just my experience, like Jay Vanquish was saying, is just I've just experienced different things with him. Not saying that he's not a good developer. I believe he is a great developer. I think it's just a matter of perspective, and I think everybody in the space they follow certain developers and stuff, and they normally stick with certain crowds and stuff, and that's just for me. It's just not for me, and it's a matter of individual choice, because everybody just has to make their choice of what they want to invest in or not. But yeah, I know a lot of people are doing very good with Elephant Money, and I'm excited for them.
Yeah, and another thing too, there's a lot going on over here with the ecosystem, and I just want to remind people of that. So like if you go to the homepage on Elephant Money, you get here, and this can be a little overwhelming, guys, because they got a lot of different parts of the ecosystem. You got futures, you got Elephant, you got unlimited NFTs, you got some farms, you got Trumpet, Stampede, and Trunk, and it's a lot when you first look at it, right? But really, the way SK broke it down, you know what? You don't have to get into every single thing in the ecosystem. You just start off with the Elephant token, hold the Elephant token, get your foot in the door. That the chart continues to go upwards. They got the deep liquidity, and then maybe after you get that, do your research and start understanding how some of the other parts of the ecosystem work. The futures is a new product, just came out in February, and they got some good tokenomics to it. I like how some of the things, basically, to get into futures, you got to have at least 200 BUSD. It's BUSD in, BUSD out. from my understanding. And to compound your $200, your 200 BUSD, you actually have to take another 200 BUSD to compound it. So what they advertise with futures is, you don't have hyper compounding and then serial claiming. To compound your elephant, or not your elephant, but your futures account, you actually got to come up with another 200 BUSD. So they got schedules, right? You can either do it daily, weekly, monthly, however you choose to do it. There's all different things that go into it, but basically they took out some of the elements of some of the other ROI dApps where you got hyper compounding and serial claiming. And so you're actually, when you even claim, if you go to claim out your futures, you're actually claiming that out of your own account. So by claiming that, it actually reduces the amount of futures holdings you have. So that's like the second thing maybe you'd look into after Elephant, and then the unlimited NFTs. The thing that intrigues me about the NFTs is that basically the first 10,000, they're 1 BNB. Once them 10,000 are up, it goes up to 2 BNB. And then after they're gone, it's 4 BNB. So basically to get in early on the NFTs, you're going to get a better bargain. And then you could probably go up for a aftermarket resale on them later down the road. So they do have some value, and you do earn a yield on them. He even encouraged me, SK, the other day about staying away maybe from Trunk right now because it's not at peg. It's supposed to be pegged to $1. It's like the ecosystem stable coin, so there's things that go on with Trunk, with the farms and Trumpet and Stampede and stuff like that. But basically, SK, he was explaining to me that we're better off waiting for Elephant just to buy the token and keep going with the Elephant token, because after a while, you got to understand the mechanics with Bertha. It's the biggest whale in the system, and that Bertha is going to get us to this parabolic state where it's actually eventually going to drag Trunk back to peg to $1. At least that's the theory. In theory, we'll see how it goes. I'm curious. I like it so far. Like I said, I'm not hugely invested. I only use risk capital, but it gave me exposure to something that's actually winning in the space right now, and it does feel good. Jay, you got any exposure to futures or the unlimited NFTs?
I've got one NFT, small futures bag. I've got Trunk left over from the exploit, which I think everybody does, just waiting for that to come back to peg. And then just mostly an Elephant token only for me.
Nice. We got some people in the chat. Want to give a shout out to Mr. Big. He's been an Elephant for 2 years. Deshaun, Mr. Big, nice to see ya. Nice to see everybody else also. LCM, shout out to LCM Crypto. Good guy right there. He just got into Elephant, I believe. We got Mr. Mobjaw. How you doing, sir? Pootcoin reminds me that when I sold Elephant 2 years ago for profit of 300, that my 1,400 would be worth 35K now. Yeah, I hear that a lot in the space with the Elephant now. It's like it's one of them if only scenarios, right? If only I just kept my money in Elephant. You actually hear that a lot. All right. Good stuff, guys. All right, let's move on. Oh shoot, didn't want to do that, but basically I wanted to move on to ARKFI, but I sort of just canceled out the screen. All right, here we go. So ARKFI, baby. Let's talk about ARKFI, because this right now is definitely another one of my top projects in the DeFi space. I love what ARKFI is doing. Been listening into the daily podcast. I got a podcast every day, AMA style, in the voice chat on Telegram. And I do have their Telegram link. I'll run right down on the bottom banner there. You'll see the official Telegram for ARKFI. You guys want to get over there. Good news this week. They have a sweep widget contest. You go in there. It's on their announcements channel or in their main chat. And it's easy, right? You got to have an ARKFI account, a vault set up, but you go in there and you do some daily actions. And all it is, you just go in there and support the content creators. You like a couple videos, subscribe to the channels, leave a comment, stuff like that. Maybe go read a Medium article, give it some claps, leave another comment, some TikTok, some Twitter. Basically, really simple stuff. Takes about maybe 5-6 minutes out of your day. And you're in a chance. You get put on the wheel of names. And back-to-back this week, I won the sweep widget wheel. And then the following day, my man Jay Vanquish won right behind me. So that was pretty neat. We had a good week on the contest giveaway. And the reason why I say this, guys, ARKFI does contest every day. They have the wheel of the toad, they call it, with the sweep widget. Just go in and do what we just explained. And then you got the Spark Prize. The Spark Prize is still going. To be eligible for the Spark Prize, you got to have at least $250 worth of bond in the foundation or hold any one of the legacy NFTs. So Spark drawing's been going every single day since inception. It's up to, I think it's like 800 and something ARK tokens you can win now. So it's pretty decent, you know. And here's the thing. ARK, I believe, is deemed for a comeback. We covered this Tuesday night too with SK. SK was one of the original what do you call that? Consultant advisor. He was one of the advisors, and he's busy in life. He explained to me, you know, he's got a lot going on, and but he even said on Tuesday night, like, if one of these ROI dApps are going to make it through the bear market and then come back with blazing into the bull, it's going to be ARKFI. And the reason why, guys, it's because we're not, you know, we're trying to stir away from the Ponzi-nomics. We're trying to stir away from that. They're actually building real world businesses. They're looking to create external revenue to bring back to the ARK vault, to bring back to the legacy NFT holders. And these external revenues are part of their virtual card, their Terra card that's been long awaited, but they insure us every day. They've been working on it. It should be launching soon. What are your thoughts on ARKFI, Mr. J Vanquish?
I think you hit the points on the head there. And then Terry Tibbs just pointing out, you know, some green shoots of recovery. I know I talked to you earlier. I've been messing around with Kelly Snook's calculator, looking at this price point, you know, putting different wallets together and strategizing. I created 2 new wallets today. Personally, I've been DCAing in. You know, when you consider where we're at with 11 cents and you look at the liquidity that's there, it's not going to take much revenue to come in to move that price up and to maintain us above that 11 cents. And especially if people keep coming in and buying. So not financial advice, but with all the utilities that are coming, I think this is a great time to get into the calculators, kind of mess around, you know, even go to you can go into the liquidity pools, you can do some math and just see, you know, if there's some injections here or some buys here, what it does. And Brett's always saying it, it's not going to take much to get that price moving. And if we sprinkle in some buys with that revenue stream, we could see the price moving right up. And then realistically, if you're buying in at this price, obviously we were invested before when we were hit that 572 mark. So 11 cents is a far cry off from that 572. But if you come in now and DCA in, and again, not financial advice, I think it's nothing but up, or potentially nothing but up. So if you buy in at 11 now and revenue comes in and buys come in and we hit that even 25 or 50 cents, I mean, that's a huge profit if you come in now at 11. But again, not financial advice, but exactly what you're saying. I think we're starting to see that turnaround, and just look at that chart and that nice green shoot up there.
Yeah, I love it. Buy these dips. How you feeling this week about ARKFI?
Yeah, good. I just think it's a bit of a patience game at this point, isn't it? To allow the team who are building furiously in the sausage room to deliver on a lot of these utilities. Obviously, there's the Terra card, which is the physical debit card. That's looking fairly imminent in terms of when that's going to launch. I guess over the next week or two. Plus, of course, all the privacy suite of products they're working on, the decentralized VPN service, and email and password manager and passkey manager. There's a lot coming out, and let's not forget the gold-backed stablecoin as well, which is on the roadmap, and ARKNet. I mean, these are all products that have real tangible sort of market fit. And like you said, Johnny, moving away from sort of just pure Ponzonomic sort of projects, I think that's going to be the way forward. I think the market now is just too well drilled on how these Ponzonomic projects work, and it's become increasingly difficult to game them. There's just too many people out there now who know how they work. So no, I'm quietly bullish on the prospects of ARK. And the other thing as well with ARK, it's not saddled with the hyperinflation that we've seen in the likes of Furio and Drip, which has really sort of ravaged those systems. And ARK's still fairly fairly small in terms of its user base, and it's not been sort of hit with that massive inflation we've seen elsewhere. So it genuinely has a chance to make a big comeback.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even the buy volume starting to increase and outpace the sell volume. I like to see that metric too. Donatello, how you doing, buddy? What are you thinking tonight about ARKFI? How you feeling?
I always felt good about it. I feel from the aspect of getting to know the team very well and what they're doing and all that good stuff. It's good. It's always good to see a little stability in the bottom, and hopefully we can settle, at least go sideways at this. Because if we can even keep the momentum and go sideways, that will be really good. And I think people will be looking at buying it because there's potential for price appreciation. I was just looking at the chart. I think we're actually above a nice little resistance level that we hit a few times, and hopefully we can hold that support. And looking at the daily, look like we have a nice bullish candle. So we'll see what happens. I think that people are really paying attention to, especially with the expectation for drip with DDD. So I think people are really just looking for something that they can settle in and make a nice return in, and looking at utilities and what use cases are going to be for these different ROI dApps. And I think ARK has a strong way to be able to provide that with the real world utilities that they're bringing. So we'll see. I think people are going to come around. I think there's a lot of people, especially the ones that's been in ROI dApps for a while now, that has been in drip, Fury, all this. They're all in ARK quietly, and I think they're just watching behind the scenes, just trying to see how everything's play out. But if ARK can come out and release all these utilities and make it to where the utilities can support the ecosystem, I think that will be one of the biggest bullish movements for ARK overall, and will bring a lot of people into ARK. So
yeah, most definitely. And we just had a question in the chat here. Could you guys explain a little bit on ArcLight and how it works? You want to take that, Jay? I mean, and listen, guys, we only know so much too. We're only getting bits and pieces. So this is it'll be a little bit of our interpretation on how it works. So go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, give me 1 second here. So based off, the bits and pieces of alpha that we've seen in the chats and on the voice, the couple things that we know for sure, there's going to be zero Ponzi-nomics, right? It's not going to have any type of fixed APR. It'll be a variable APR. There is some discussion this week basically talking about how it's not going to be dependent on, we know it's not going to be dependent on a token, and other people aren't going to be dependent on other people investing, right? So that's part of the zero Ponzi-nomics. But it's essentially a system where you put in $1,000, you see $1,000, and your $1,000 has the chance to make money independent from anybody else. And then the other cool thing is it will bridge that gap between Web 2 and Web 3. So you don't need a wallet to come in, you will need a wallet to go out, but hopefully we'll bring in some of that 1.4 billion unbanked folks, and then we can start seeing some of that mass marketing and the Zoom calls that Bizy Dips worked on, bring those people into the system, expose them to the ARK ecosystem, and maybe they'll utilize the utilities. It could be the on-ramp, maybe the cards, and then they'll start seeing stuff like the vault, the NFTs, the foundation. And then if they want a higher reward, more risk, they can jump into stuff like the ARK vault. Another thing that at first kind of threw me is the fact that directly, ArcLight doesn't directly benefit the ARK vault, right? But it's indirectly by bringing in those people that would use the utilities, and then 33% of the utilities is going to go back to the ARK vault. But when you actually think of it, it's a great thing that it isn't tied to the ARK vault, because it's its own independent thing. It's not beholden to anything. It has its own what they're calling, right? I think it's revenue generating engine that is zero Ponzi-nomic, variable, and then each person interacts, and it's each person's account, and they're only dependent on themselves. We don't need to all roll the same direction. They're not going to be hurt by something like a foundation or people selling a token because there isn't one. So in reality, that's the gear, and that's where everybody's pushing for, with so many different rugs and so many different types of protocols that aren't working, and like stuff like you're seeing with what's happening with the drip price. This is the high demand, and ARK is taking advantage of that, and then they're basically utilizing that to bring in new people, to expose them to utilities and bridge that gap between Web 2 and Web 3. So when you think about this in the overall ecosystem and what the ARK team's been building and how they've been pushing this forward all along, this makes perfect sense. Sounds like a fantastic added protocol, or let's say added part of the ARK ecosystem. And I can't wait for it to come out, because the space is kind of crazy right now. I would love to have another option with a trusted team like the ARK team, where I can park my money, put my money in, my money is my money, and it's just me and this revenue generating engine, and I don't have to worry about the outside noise. So I can't wait for it to launch. That's kind of my take on it.
Nice. And I like how you hit on a lot of the points. Heidi's Dips, you got any alpha for us for ARKLight?
No alpha. Great summation there from Jashan. I think one of the most exciting things about it for me is the need to not have to have a Web3 wallet if that's the user's choice. I mean, getting a new person into crypto, getting them set up with a wallet, getting that wallet funded, all the rest of it, that is a massive leap for so many people, and you lose them. So to have that option, of course, people will be able to contribute with crypto, but to have that option where people can contribute with fiat, and technically, even if they want to offboard via, the Air card or the Terra card, I mean, you could participate here without ever needing a Web3 wallet at all. I mean, as I said, of course, there's the option to do so, but that is a real game changer. So I think it opens up the product to everyone, really.
Yeah, most definitely. And I agree with what you say. People get lost in the sauce real quick, right? Like, we used to have our meetups, and the guy, before you even got started, you got your email password? Well, no, I don't know it. Well, game over, right? He never came back to us again because he just, lack of knowing his email password. Like, once people have to get into this and you get them in setting up the exchange, getting a wallet set up, like if they get hung up on any little spot, like, all right, we'll straighten it out tomorrow or next week. Well, then usually that next week never comes, right? So it definitely, yeah. I like the idea of the easy onboarding. So,
well, I remember with Coach Brad as well, just onboarding people into ARK, getting them set up with a wallet and, a Binance account to fund their account and all this sort of stuff. It would take him hours and hours and hours over days and days and days with new people. Effectively, that's all removed technically with this. So it's a massive step forward in my view.
Yeah. And then that's the thing too, like you were saying, Coach Brad, they have coaches over there at ARKFI that will actually, they call it the white glove concierge service, where they're going to take you through and do all these steps with you if need be. And I think by doing that organically and having them do that, they're learning from it, right? So like they're actually learning from what works, what doesn't work. So incorporating that into ARKLight by onboarding people easily and effortlessly is going to be a huge difference. Donatello, your thoughts on ARKLight?
I agree with what Visor Dips and Jay Vanquish was talking about. I think that the easy onboarding is going to be a plus, because you think about all these centralized exchanges. When you think about like Coinbase, crypto.com, it's like an easy process for people, so they get such a significant amount of revenue that comes in and they participate because it's so easy. And then and you take even both of them, you think about crypto.com and Coinbase. Now Coinbase has its own blockchain, building that user base, and then based on the user base, then eventually coming out, if you think about with ARK privacy network and how that can all tie back in, that easy onboarding is going to be the right sauce to bring people into all the other products they're launching, because now they connect with a product or you can say a business, and now once they're in there, they build the trust, and now since the trust is built, now people are more likely to use the products because there's a trust there. And I think that the way they're taking this is the right way. I think it's the right way that they're doing the ARK Lite and bringing that in, something that most DeFi projects are not doing. And I think is a major plus. And I think it's going to be a huge onboarding from that with the easy use.
Well said, my friend. Well said. And so and another thing too, guys, it makes it easier. Like we look at this this vault screen right here, people come in, they got to learn about the 2% daily rewards, the net deposit value, the CWR, what percentages am I going to do here? So it can be a little overwhelming. So just to be able to come in with ARK Lite and just be able to do, get in and get your crypto going, have dashboard, have it up on dashboard, have to worry about all the taxes and, there are no Ponzi-nomics and all that stuff where, they're going to have it really, really simple. It's going to help big time because, everybody learns at their own pace, right? So to just get people in and get them some exposure to something like this. I mean, I don't know if you guys had any experience on staking on centralized exchanges, but that's what I sort of think about it when I think about ARK Lite. Like Gemini, like you can go over there and stake your tokens and stuff and get APY or APR. That's what I sort of feel like as far as ease of use. Is like it's going to remind me of like staking on centralized platforms. Wouldn't you guys agree?
I agree, and even thinking about that, like Coinbase, you use Coinbase, you can use your debit card, you buy your crypto. They do have where you can earn rewards also, but then they also have it to where you can kind of connect to DeFi and you can send your crypto to the DeFi side too. So I think building that out, man, I think it's so huge, and I forgot who brought that up. Who was that brought that up about the easy way of onboarding in one of the chats?
I'm drawing a blank. Anybody else?
I can't remember, but either way it go, the aspect of the team just to be able to hear out the community is a plus because they wasn't even thinking in this way so much. I know they had the thought process of it because they talked about it, but for them to listen to a community member and really get the full perspective of it and really think about it and then transition to this way because of what a community member said, that just speaks volumes. They're listening to the community.
I think it was NATO.
Oh, it was definitely NATO.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely remain open-minded and definitely thrive on community feedback. So that's good to see too. That's what I like about the ARKFI project and team. It's like they're really open-minded and they listen to their community, which is huge. I like that about this. Makes you feel good, But hey, sidebar real quick before I forget. I went to the store and I got this new shirt. Anybody, you would think it was Twitter, right? But it's not. It's Express is the name of the store, but it doesn't look just like the new Twitter logo.
I like it.
Yeah.
Nice.
I do too. There was buy one, get one free, so I got a white t-shirt too with the X on it. So yeah, quick sidebar. There's another place where you might see crypto ESA use, right? If Elon can pull it off and get in Twitter with crypto payments and all that, like I'm going to be interested to see what that, all rolls out to be. Some other things I see by these dips in the macro posted something in your guys' Telegram with Mr. Sam Bankman, right?
Yeah, he's been put in jail for tampering with witnesses. I mean, can any of this be surprising? It's quite a story, isn't it? So he now has to stay in jail until his trial takes place. I think that's in October. So yeah, it's been an incredible story, that one.
Yeah, I was watching Altcoin Daily, and they're saying they're pretty much breaking it down and stuff. And man, it's like the things like people will do. It's just crazy. Like he's already in enough trouble, and then to go beyond like that, and now he's got to go sit in jail. So, well, I guess you reap what you sow.
Yeah, I think he strikes me as someone who's probably on the spectrum of some sorts, and a lot of those sort of people have very little empathy and feel very little guilt, and they're different cats. So yeah, none of it surprises me, to be honest.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, so shout out to the elephant community too. I'm getting a lot of support from them guys. So shout out to the elephant community, the Telegram and stuff. We just joined. It's really a pretty healthy Telegram over there. Everybody's real helpful and stuff. It's positive. So I encourage you guys. I did put the link in here. Actually, let me run that back real quick. We'll let that run for a minute. I got the Elephant Money Telegram here. So if anybody wants to go over and check it out, feel free to do so. But we're going to move on to our next subject, which is DDD, Drip Network. Wow, what a week, guys. Who would have thought? We got a little over a week under our belts. Oh, look at that, perfect timing. And yeah, we're down to 5 cents, guys. DDD came. We thought it was going to be a blessing for Drip. We thought that, it was going to come in and give some price action for the project. I'd have to say, at least me, I'm speaking for myself. I have to admit when I'm wrong. I didn't think that we'd be seeing this kind of scenario we're in right now. And, you can go around and ask a lot of different people, and you're going to get a lot of different opinions right now. I believe some people, you're always going to have your diehard Drip Maxi supporting the project. And, that goes along with anything, if you're a New York Jets fan and, they haven't won the Super Bowl in 20 years, you're still going to root for the Jets every year. I get that. But sometimes we got to come and face a reality a little bit. And with this 5 cent price, I don't see anything moving upward for Drip for quite some time. I think there's just a lot. And, we even look over here real quick. We had this tax vault, right? Well, that tax vault was filled up to 1 million. Now we're sitting about just above 150,000 again. My opinion, I don't think it's going to be too long before we're minting tokens again. What do you guys think? Starting with you, Jay.
I can't argue with anything that you said. I also couldn't help but notice, but that guy won the top prize and the biggest contribution. So lucky for that guy that he's. I don't know what he put in for it, but yeah, I mean, like everyone just seems to be selling. I think everyone thought that they were going to see the price pump, and now that there isn't a price pump and it's going the other way, I think we're just going to get this scenario where people are just going to keep selling, and unfortunately, that seems where we're headed right now. And there's not really a lot to say at this point. I mean, maybe scratchies or some of this other stuff down the road could help out, but right now, the chart doesn't lie and it doesn't look good.
What do you think by these dips?
Well, we discussed on last week's show, didn't we, that the jury was going to be out on DDD as to whether or not it could maintain any sort of momentum, and momentum really quickly fell away. And despite the efforts of, I think it was Ray who put in a huge amount of tokens to try and kick things along, here we are again. I mean, there's really no interest from the community in terms of buying Drip. I mean, I think it's just a situation where everyone else wants everyone else to buy Drip, but there's really no demand for the Drip token itself. I think most people have just got so much Drip, and I think that's really where the problem lies. There's just been, it's a system that's been ravaged with inflation for, well over a year. And what you're seeing now is the consequences of that. And in terms of the price action post DDD, I think, in hindsight, I think one of the reasons the price, held up reasonably well for 3 months, 4 months prior to DDD was the fact that, a lot of people weren't selling their rewards. They were holding them to sell this event. Right. So, I mean, I know I was one of them, I was holding rewards to try and benefit from a better price around DDD. And clearly that was a very crowded sort of trade. So, you had all these people with pent up rewards sitting in their wallets and in there available. And when DDD came around, a lot of people sold, within the first few days. And here we are at this price now. But, I think it's important for people to understand the inflation in the drip system. A lot of people just sort of look at the minting, and that's the minting sort of the consequence of the problem, I guess you'd say. I mean, that's sort of the, you know, what you sort of see. Okay, we're minting 500,000 tokens a day or whatever. But really the chart that since I was in drip in May, June 2021 or whenever it was, you know, the most important chart that's ever been for me has been the total debt in faucet. And that, you know, even while we're, you know, sitting here now having a conversation, that total debt in faucet is increasing. But most people, I think, really didn't realize just how quickly it was increasing. And if you take a look at a chart of the total debt in faucet, you'll see that it doubles basically every 3.5 months, roughly 3.5 months. So you can very easily forecast into the future, a little bit like your own personalized crystal ball, I guess you'd say, you know, just how severe the inflation would be in terms of the amount of rewards that people are going to get paid out each day. Obviously, you need to deduct maxed out wallets because they're no longer a drain on the system. But if you look at now, there's sort of 3.5-4 million, you know, rewards that are being paid out daily to users, which is an astronomical amount, 3.5 to 4 million. Now, if you go back to say when drip was at all-time high, call it $200 for, you know, for ease of recall, you know, there was only 50 to 55,000 rewards being paid out per day at that time. I mean, it's an 80x difference. So, you know, that's where the inflation has come from. And if you forecast out into the future, I mean, we're getting 3.5 million rewards paid out a day, or nearly 4 million actually. You know, by this Christmas, that's closer to 9 million. So this inflation is really just getting going. So, you know, I think people need to be honest with it and say, look, that, you know, there's just no coming back from this. Inflation, the inflation genie has got out of the bottle a long time ago, more than a year ago, and it's just got worse and worse. I think people would be better advised to, you know, inject their energy and time into something that can make the money in the bull market, because this won't come back. So this sort of price is absolutely no surprise to me, and this will not be the lowest price. It'll go way lower. It'll go as low as people can take liquidity out of it. And this has been a liquidity drain since basically January 2022, right? As long as there's liquidity on the DEX or PancakeSwap, people will take it. They'll just have to take it slower because it won't be economically viable to, you know, claim and sell every day, because the value would be too low. They'll hold rewards for a week or two or a month and then sell a batch of them. And that's sort of where I sort of see things going, until such time as, of course, it just becomes completely, you know, unfinancial, uneconomical to manage wallets. And it won't help people whether they've got 50 wallets or 100 wallets or 150 wallets. Once a wallet becomes unfinancial, they're all unfinancial. So I think people would be, you know, it's been an incredible run for those that were, you know, those of us that were lucky to be in early. But I think people should consider just getting out what they can, even if it's $10 here, $10 there. Get out what they can, and, you know, I guess mentally move on, because we are in a bear market. There's amazing opportunities out there, and to just sort of, you know, just sort of stick with this and the hope of literally a miracle, I think is nuts. So, you know, I think the events of the last week might have sort of been a bit of a reckoning for a lot of people. Hopefully it has been, because, you know, this day was coming. But hopefully people can move on a bit mentally and start focusing some of their attention in some things that are going to make them money in the bull.
Very well said, sir. Very well said, and duly noted, guys. I hope you were really paying attention to that and listening. We're not here to flood the project, not at all. We're here to just do an analysis and give you our thoughts and our opinions. And there are opinions. You can take them or leave them, you know. But, wow, what you really just said there, Bitey's, this made a lot of sense. And, wow, yeah. Donatello, your thoughts on DDD, drip, the future? Go ahead, bro.
I think drip, my opinion, I think the liability is high. I think that they do have a huge community support regardless. I think that the price, I do believe the price is going to go down lower. Now, what I would be looking at with drip is Forex going to continue to develop things around drip? because you have to have development, and you have to have things that's going to support drip overall and help with the inflation. I know they don't have, from my knowledge, sounds like he's trying to build more of like gambling type stuff for drip. Not so much of real world utility, besides probably the lottery thing, the lottery tickets, because I know a lot of people use them. But regarding real world utility that everybody use, I haven't heard him talk about that, which I think he should really think about and consider. I think he needs to consider also a way to find a way to support drip without the community support, because there's only so far the community can go, and they're not gonna invest in something where they're not getting a return. But I do, for the future of drip, I believe that as long as there's some community support, I think it could possibly still make a comeback. The reason why I say that is because I think when the price gets so low to where it doesn't make sense to sell, I think people will back away from it, maybe forget about it. And when it becomes dead and everybody forgets about it is when the comeback comes. So I think the best thing that can happen right now is for them to let drip settle, let the sale happen, let the price go down, and let the organic bottom settle in, and allow people to maybe forget about it and think of it not being worth it. And then if the community support is still there, that's when I think the price could have some appreciation. But I don't think it's going to happen now. I don't think it's going to happen a few months from now. I think right now it's just a matter of just sitting and waiting and seeing what happens. Maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 months, maybe a year from now. I'm going to see what Forex and the team does with development, and also see if the community strength is still there. But until that shows, then it's kind of hard to determine or know what's really going to happen. My honest opinion, I'm not buying drip right now. I'm more just waiting to see what happens. I'm more invested in ARK anyways, because I believe in the real world utility, because at the end of the day, you're gonna need that to survive anything. That's one of the only reasons why the traditional system works with a lot of companies, because they have real world utility. And if you don't have utility to support what you're doing, people are there for their gains, and then they kind of back away from it when the gains aren't there anymore. So we have to just wait and see what happens.
All right. Well, while we're on drip and we're on this topic, and thank you for sharing that, because again, guys, we're trying to make sense of all this. Couple things coming out down the real soon here. They had a pre-sale for the Pulse Drip, and then they got, and I was asking you guys earlier in the week in Telegram, what's the difference between AI Drip and Pulse Drip? I thought they were the same project for a minute there. But so they got these two other projects, and one that right now that's actually active is that Pulse Drip. They started a Telegram. They've had a pre-sale. Seems like it's getting a lot of excitement around it. What are your guys' thoughts on a Pulse Drip? Starting with you, Jay.
My thoughts are going to be very minimal. I'm not moving anything over to Pulse. I'm not touching Pulse. I would consider just holding the Pulse token, but I'm not bridging any funds over. Haven't bridged any funds over, and I'm not interested in anything on that chain. So kind of puts me out of this conversation.
Thank you for the feedback. Buy these dips. You've heard of this Pulse Drip. Are you involved with Pulse Chain or?
Well, I own the Pulse token, but no, I'm not in Pulse Drip or I'm not. Basically, I've sort of drawn a line now with pure Ponzonomic projects. I'm just not going down that path. I feel their day has come and gone, and people might make money, but I'm just not interested, to be honest.
How about you, Donatello? You got your bags ready for the launch?
Actually, the team that's behind Post Drip is the team that was behind what was it? I can't think of the name.
Burn Swap.
Bandit. It was Bandit and Burn
yep.
Swap. Bandit and Burn Swap. So of course Bandit didn't didn't come out the way they intended it. Burn swap also hasn't done so well. So now they're on post drip. Not sure how that's. I know their intentions are good. They're trusted people because I know them. But they're just trying to build something. I also have shared with them like they need to look at real world utility because that's kind of where it's at. Now with AIRDROP is the developer that was with on Avalanche or Splashup.
Yep.
Yeah, the developer that was on Splashup, he's with the AIRDROP. I'm not sure what's going to happen with that, but that's supposed to be something that's supposed to support drip. But with post drip, I didn't get into it. I planned on at least getting maybe 1 or 2 wallets at that pre-sale, very minimum, just to have some kind of allocation in it. But I forgot about it, so I never got into it. And normally with these protocols, if I can't get in the pre-sale, I kind of stay away from it. But that's where the most gains are going to come if you get in early. So, and that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Yeah, and I'd like to warn people too. I was talking to my buddy Eternal last night, and I asked him about that too, and he pretty much flat out called it's going to be a pump and dump. Take it with that what you will, people. But just try to look out for people. Obviously, everybody's got to make their own decisions. We don't give any financial advice whatsoever, but again, we sort of see the writing on the wall with these things. You get a lot of hype in the beginning. Everybody tries to get in early. And then the people that got in early, because obviously the pre-sale's already sold out, but now they're creating even more hype and FOMO around the project. They want everybody else to jump in now. And even if you do get in on that first day, you might do okay. Second day, you're probably all right. But anything after that, you're probably going to be end up being exit liquidity.
Quick thought on that, Johnny, is, when you think about what we've been talking about and what we've been really in the space been talking about for months, I mean, at this point, we use that analogy several times. Multiple people have used it, that it's just like musical chairs, right? Yeah. And everybody's going around and you're coming in, you're coming out, and then and everybody's money is just going from one protocol to the next. The big thing is bringing in new investors and new money, right? Like what ARKFI is going to do with ArcLight and bridge that gap between Web 2 and Web 3. At this point, even if you get in early, every single person that's going to invest are the same people that were in Drip and lost money, the same people that were in Furio, the same people that were in all these protocols. So at this point, everybody understands how the game works. The same way with everybody holding on to the liquid drip and everybody waiting for it to pump because everybody wants to make their money back because they lost on drip if they came in at the top. So really, even if you get in early at this point, I think like what Bizy Dips was saying, with this Ponzinomics element and the ROI DAP, everybody in the space knows what's up. So if you think that you're going to make money, you're in the pre-sale. Once it launches, who are the people that are buying? Because the pre-sale has been open for quite a long time. So anybody that wanted to could have bought the pre-sale. Now, when you launch, what type of hype and what person's going to buy it, knowing what we've known for the last 3.5 years in this space. So any ROI DAP that launches from this point forward is just going to have a really, really hard time, regardless of whatever sustainability they built in, how great their white paper is. I think it's really irrelevant unless they already have that utility built, or they already have that revenue generation built in. And if that's the case, then they don't need to do an ROI DAP to begin with. They can just do a completely different type of protocol.
Yeah, most definitely. And you're right. They did change a couple mechanics and rules to try to help curve the, everybody's trying to correct the things that didn't work, right? So I think the referral level is a little different. It's like a 1-level thing. And I think they changed a couple other things. I didn't go through and study the project thoroughly, so I can't comment on how everything works. But again, like, I can say from my hand on my heart here, and these people that we're chatting in right here, guys, we don't want to see anybody else do bad. We want to see people do good. We want to see the DeFi space, the crypto space, to become attractive. That's how you're going to get new investors in. We want people to win. It's, we're going to try to help in a way where we can at least make you guys aware to make decisions. that maybe make sense, you know. But again, at the end of the day, it's up to you. You know, if you're gonna just go ahead and chase these projects and support these projects, you just got to be careful, man. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm not involved in it. You know, I'm trying to get into the projects that are a little bit more make sense and that can be in for the long haul. Even if that comes back to dollar cost averaging into altcoins, you know. Getting back to the roots, you know, what I learned about in crypto in the first place, you know, just picking a few winning altcoins and have a dollar cost average plan and get yourself set up for a profit taking strategy come bull market, you know, getting them cutoff dates in, making sure you got your bags locked up for that full year so you can take advantage of the long-term capital gains and stuff, you know, not tax advice, not financial advice, whatever, you guys do your own thing with that. But, you know, there's some things we got to think about, right? Yeah, so let's just move on. I do want to go and touch on the animal farm because this week, Forex did do the dog pound migration. Anybody have any experience on that? Today, I was able to migrate. I had one dog, and I migrated my one dog. So I can show you that tab, too. Deshaun, you had any new updates here?
No, I've been out of Animal Farm for a long time and I'm not coming back in. So I'll defer to the others on this one.
How about you, By these Dips? You got any dogs?
No, my dogs were institutionalized a long time ago from the V1 to V2 migration earlier. So no, I don't hold any of those. A question I've got for anyone here that knows what's sort of going on here. So do your dogs now become an NFT, including any sort of tax credits? Is that how it works? And then you can trade those on an open marketplace like OpenSea. Is that right?
I'm not sure about the OpenSea thing, but yeah, what happens is you're taking your dogs, like let's say you had it staked. This is, you know, my explanation of it. You had it staked in either the auto compound or linear. You got your tax reduction all the way up to 84%, or even if it isn't up to 84%, you at least got to have your stake in here for 24 hours. You can withdraw it. It gets converted over to this NFT. And then basically it's showing your amount of dogs here. It shows your tax reduction and it gives you an NFT ID. And then you can take down here and you can either transfer the NFT, sell partial of it. You can even sell partial of the NFT. So if I highlight this NFT, it'll come up down here. This is the only one I got. And then I actually had a little bit left over. So I staked the rest 0.89 dogs here, but I got to let it sit in here for 24 hours before I can withdraw it and convert it, migrate it into one of these NFTs. And then I'll just have a dual NFT here. So I can switch back and forth. And then I could take action on the NFT down here where I can either sell a portion of it, sell all of it for BNB or BUSD, which is sort of cool. And then,
so you're still selling it into the same liquidity pool. It's not just being sold on an open marketplace.
Yeah, I believe that's the case. Yep.
But I think you can sell the NFTs. I don't think that that's live yet. And just kind of like an anecdotal comment here. And again, like you said earlier, Johnny, I want everybody to succeed, everyone in the space. But when we goes back to like talking about how complicated stuff can get and bringing in new users and bringing in new money,
yeah,
like even you explaining this to me, it's complicated to me. So it's like, this doesn't encourage me as a new user to jump into Animal Farm, right? So it's like the more complicated you make it with now there's an NFT and you can partially sell the NFT and there's a 90% tax, and like, this isn't encouraging from an aspect of bringing in new money and new users. I hope it's very successful. It sounds like the V3 liquidity pools are going to be amazing, which hopefully they are. But again, if your payout is only in dog token and it ends into this NFT, it is very confusing. There's definitely a steep learning curve, but hopefully it turns out being successful.
You know who would be good to have on here that's been covering this is our buddy Brandon, the Drip DeFi guy. But he said he had date night with his wife, so he did message me, say he wouldn't be on tonight, but he will be back soon. But I know he's been covering this and he's well versed in Drip and Animal Farm. So maybe when we get him on next week, he can break all this down for us.
The one thing I will say, Johnny, is have you looked into this V3 stuff?
Not entirely.
So maybe I haven't understood everything, but My understanding is with the V3 LP pools that you can sort of target a certain price range with your LP, and you can auto compound. Is that sort of your understanding?
Yeah, actually, I was watching Brandon did a video last night covering that, how you can target the liquidity pool. So once transactions come in and stuff, you're going to get more of a tax. So it's going to be a bigger break for you, which I guess that's going to make it a little bit more bullish. I did know that they're supposed to do away with the pools too. Like, so you won't have the pools here anymore. It'll just be dual staking, doing liquidity pairs with the farms.
Yeah. A lot of these dexes on the newer chains, they're all like that, similar to V3.
Exactly.
And they have a range, and then there's some of them that even auto range for you. Like you can put your assets into the pool, and it'll move them around. And it's like, you know, if you're willing to go in there and manually change them, you obviously will make more because you can adjust as the liquidity pools do. But these protocols, there's a lot of them, especially on the like Optimism and Arbitrum and the ZK chains. Almost every DEX that's built from scratch has something built in like this, and even some of the ones on Polygon have this now that they've adjusted. I think QuickSwap has them now. So,
they do. They do. Yeah, I think users would be well advised to do a lot of research. They're actually called concentrated liquidity pools, and this is not a new innovation at all. This was brought out by Uniswap a couple of years ago, and they actually had a what do they call it? A business source license. So the technology nobody could use until I think it was April of this year. So what's that? 3 or 4 months ago. Now, since that business source license has expired, of course, there's been a proliferation of forks and you know people within various protocols and platforms that are now using this sort of thing, including auto compounding. So I think it's very important that anyone either A, getting excited over the AFV3 or B, looking to invest in it, should spend a lot of time researching concentrated liquidity pools and how they work and where the best deals are. Because you've got, since that business license expired, you've had the likes of KyberSwap, which have got their, I think it's called KyberSwap Elastic, which was one of the first ones that do auto compounding. You know, you've had Trader Joe. I'm just trying to think on Arbitrum, Ramsey's exchange. Beefy Finance are now doing it with the auto compounding. There's probably a heap more as well. I think Beefy Finance as well with their association with, is it FINA on BNB? I think they're pushing those pools out through that. And with, as you mentioned, Deshaun, QuickSwap on Polygon. And, you know, I only looked at this stuff for like, you know, this is a few months ago. I looked at this stuff for about an hour and sort of looked through it all. So I think people, you know, need to be aware that this is not recreating fire or making the wheel. This is stuff that's already out there, unless there's something I have misunderstood with AFV3. But it's a very competitive landscape. These are very complex products in terms of how they need to be managed. So, you know, I'm not sure how the powers that be think they're gonna bring all that sort of business to AF, but they certainly don't have a moat. In other words, they don't have something exclusive here that's not been out in the marketplace. So I just want to put that out there, because if people think this is something innovative and new that AF are bringing, my understanding anyway, happy to be proven wrong, is that it isn't.
I think one of the things, and again, I haven't done a ton of research on it, but I think that one of the differences, exactly everything you're saying is exactly accurate, true, because you can make a ton of money right now if you find those different pools, and there's even some on Base right now that have launched. Like the APRs are absolutely ridiculous. I mean, like almost ROI DAP-ish, depending on, you know, when you get into these pools. I think the main mechanism here is I think that they're utilizing these pools on the back end and they're not running the pools. So that's helping them generate income on the back end, and then they can in turn turn on, you know, like their native tokens, and they can increase. I think the benefit for if you invest is that they're making more money on the back end, which allows them to keep the price of the tokens like up, like the native ones, which means they can turn on the native tokens and push them out kind of like more efficiently, where you would make more. That's the only difference that I can see, because they're not running the pools themselves. They're just running them on the back end, and they're benefiting from the pools.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I think advice would be to see how this all pans out with AFV3 rather than sort of aping in And as we said, sort of making sure that people are checking what alternatives are out there in the marketplace to get the best bang for their buck. Because it's, there's a lot of other options with this, but it is very complex. And we've seen, let's be honest, the animal farm community is the drip community. And I'm not sure that, there's a lot of love for animal farm from drip, most of the drip people. Like, I think if people haven't lost money in drip, they've sort of lost it on animal farm. So I think a lot of people sort of feel that animal farm's taken away from drip. That's just my sort of, I guess, my feeling on the community in general. Obviously that's not everyone, but I just think a lot of people don't have a lot of love for it. So I'm not sure how well it will be supported. I think for V3 to work, I think it's going to have to bring in a lot of new money from elsewhere. I just don't think the money's there within the drip community to support this in a big way. And I think the products are a bit too complex for most people.
Yeah. And another thing too, Pig's AFP token had some volatility this week also. I don't know if you guys caught that this week. Actually had a wild sell-off. It went all the way down to like $10, and now it's since recovered, but it went down to 10. I think it was hovering at 15 there for a minute, and then now it's recovered a little bit back to the 20s. But yeah, a lot of stuff going on over in drip community.
I think the pigs price, I think it was pretty encouraging to see it bought back up like that. I think there's still I don't know who's been doing the buying, but I mean, I think the pigs price will be well supported until V3 comes out. But in my view, I mean, let's be honest, Animal Farm's been a failure. Pigs price was $1,000 on launch day. It's $20. Dogs token was 115. I think I remember seeing. It's $3. It hasn't worked out as planned. And I think this V3, this is the moment. This has got to work because the pig pen is dry. There's no more money left. It's not paying good yield. And I mean, technically the underlying value of the pigs token should come from, the yield that you're earning and how much is in the pig pen or going into the pig pen on a regular basis. So for me, the V3 moment is the real litmus test. This is the moment. It has to work. If it doesn't work, I think Animal Farm's in big trouble. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and I think with Animal Farm, because there's a lot of DEXs out there. So I believe that 4X, like, what is he doing to grab the attention to users? Because, like, it's better DEXs out there that can be used. There's better forms out there that can be used. So he's going to have to come up with something very innovative to grab the attention of users for people to come over and invest in Animal Farm. And to me, I really don't see it, and unless somebody sees something different, because I don't see a mega wave of users coming to the Animal Farm that participate in the Animal Farm. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
You got.
At the end of the day, the pig pen's dry. There's little or no yield on offer. You're earning little or no yield on your dogs. It's not worked well. People have lost a lot of money. If they haven't lost it on drip, they've lost it on Animal Farm. So it's this V3 moment. It's really got to work. But I think until V3 launches, I think at least until then, the pigs price will probably do pretty well. It might even see an even bigger pump than we've seen over the last few days. Not financial advice, of course. No idea what people are going to do. But it's after that. Is the V3 going to deliver? And as I said, there's a fair bit of competition out there.
Yeah, quick sidebar, guys. The weather over here is rain's coming down in sheets right now. Possible tornado warnings. So if I do lose power, I just want to give you guys heads up and just let you know it could happen. But we're gonna stay going until it doesn't.
If that does happen, have a good trip.
Oh yeah, most definitely. But here's the thing. All right, so in a perfect world, and this is what we wished we lived in, right? In a perfect world, everybody was supposed to do good on drip, and then people from drip would have had a place to put their earnings into the Animal Farm. And then we could have this perfect cycle of going back and forth between drip and Animal Farm and taking and shaving profits, working together as a community and being in a successful ecosystem. That was the intention, Now, like it's just been said, them intentions didn't quite play out the way that they were planned and intended to go. And, at the end of the day, we got to figure out what's best for us, it's great to be part of a community, no doubt about it. Communities are strong with numbers and stuff, but as individual investors too, you got to take in inventory and assess where you're at, and sort of sometimes, do what's best for you. I like how By These Dips said there's a lot of opportunity out there right now, and there really is. If you put your blinders on here and hope for a miracle, I feel for you. Like I said, I'm nothing against Drip and Animal Farm. It's done a lot of things for a lot of people. Me not being one of them so much, but I've enjoyed the ride. I've taken some profits. Have I ROI'd? Probably not. But you know what? It did pave the way for some other things to get rolling. It's good. They definitely. But like By These Dips were just saying, did they pave the way, or were they just taking what someone else put in front of them before? It's good to get the history on this stuff. It's really good to get the history. And again, we don't fluff it up over here. We're just telling you how it is, guys. We're just sharing our journeys, sharing our thoughts. Good, bad, and different. But so it's been a good week. We'll see how the Animal Farm does, how it pans out with the V3 migration. I think Forex does need a win. He needs to get the community morale back up and in there. But I just think, like Jay was saying, we're playing musical chairs here. A lot of people are exhausted. We don't have unlimited funds to invest and just throw away. It's just not the way reality is, right? So I'm trying to do it smart now. I'm trying to really put my money to work for me in a way where I'm going to do good. And I want anybody that follows me to do the same, and that's why we're sort of spreading our wings here. I love ARKFI, man. I think even ARKFI, we go back over here, I think even if they could do it different, they would have waited and launched the external revenue, get the external utilities and stuff up and running before they even launched the ROI DAP in hindsight. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Well, I think the biggest reason why you have the ROI DAP is to bring in money and bring in that funding, because a lot of times you can't create the utilities without any resources. So it's like it's a double-edged sword, right? If you were able to just produce the utilities to begin with, then there may not be a need for an ROI DAP. But the ROI DAP, the NFT funding, and that comes in, and then that helps, get everything running, get all the teams in place, and get everything moving. So a lot of times that is why it's done that way, because if you had all the money up front, then you don't need all those investors. You could just launch the utilities. You know what I'm saying, Johnny?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say that it depends on who's behind it. Because I know a project right now, COA. I don't know if y'all heard of City of Atlantis, but they're they at first when they were and Olo is the mastermind behind it. He came back in the bankroll flow days because he was going to use the first token. What it was? Help me on Tron with bank teller. It was called, anyways, bank teller. The token that he launched on Tron, similar to Drip, Olo was gonna use that token as a currency for what he's developing. Well, that didn't pan out right. So then Drip launched, and he was gonna use Drip, and him and Olo got in a spat or whatever. So that didn't pan out right. So he kind of kicked Drip to the side, and they're developing their own now. And what they're doing with City of Atlantis is they're developing real world utility. They're going after e-commerce, music, entertainment, all that. But they're developing the utility first before they launch anything. So, and what they're doing now is, and I kind of wanted to talk about this because they're giving away some of their NFTs, and you can get a yard NFT and COA by doing an educational session and setting up a meeting with Olo to talk with him about the project. So if anybody's interested, they can just come into Crypto Cave, and I have the link in there. And all you have to do is watch a video, 23-minute video, and just schedule a 30-minute meeting with Olo, the developer, and then they'll give you a free yard to be a part to get in a Wells Lounge. But they're developing, his idea is he's developing real world utility But what he's doing is he's taking the metaverse, he's building the metaverse, and he's building a real world utility. And the metaverse is going to look like the real world. So when you're going in the metaverse city is going to be a replicate of the real world city, and you can visit. And then in order to get access to these cities, you have to be an investor, and you have an ID that gives you access. So they're developing these real world utilities, but they're also developing an ROI DApp, which is going to be inclusive to early investors, that they're going to receive 1% return on it, but then it's going to close off at a certain amount. And then anybody behind that will get a smaller ROI on that. But what they're doing is these revenue streams is going to come from the real world. That's going to funnel back to the project, but they're not releasing anything until they have their utilities in place. So that's kind of what they're working on right now, but it's called City of Atlantis.
Wow. Yeah, the ROI DApp, that's not H&W, is it?
No, it's not. It's not even. They actually just partner with. They partner with. What it is. They partner with Ultimo. They're going to be using Ultimo.
Wow.
For the banking side of things. I'm also on Ultimo too. That's actually what I took. I took my pigs token and I sold them all, and I bought me an Ultimo NFT, which is generating me income every month. So I'm kind of glad I did that, because that's something I can look forward to every month, and that's been going up every month. But COA is totally different. It's a different project. He has a full flex of teams. He's also connected in the music and entertainment industry with some big people. And he's been developing this since Bankroll Flow days, and he's steady going, and they're working at it.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear, like the partnership with Ultimo, because they're pretty straight up guys. They don't really partner with just anyone. I've heard some AMAs and voice chats with them guys. Yeah, Ultimo. So you were able to get one of the NFTs for Ultimo, Donato?
Yeah, I'm in their DAO. Yeah, I got one. The revenues, which is kind of good, because I see what Ultimo's done with the revenue streams, and they're paying out to their NFT holders every month a piece of it's like 40% of the fees that's generated, and every month it's been the fees, the amount has been going up. Like this month it was like $64, but when I first got in it was like around $25. So, and it's going up every month. So that shows that the growth is happening, and then also it shows me what I can look forward to when it comes to the art and what they're going to be bringing on, with the cards and stuff, because it's a similar system. It's just a little different, but it's very similar, because even with the ARK, you have to, with Ultimo, I had to do my photo identity. I didn't have to use social security to get my card, my physical card, and ARK is going to be the same way. So I know the process, I know how it works and all that. So it'll be similar, but I know ARK also talked about the metal cards. Ultimo does not have the metal cards. I know they talked about that. So it's awesome. It's awesome to be able to see Ultimo and how it has worked for them, and I can see what it's going to look like for ARK also, because I'm also in the ARK DAO also. So.
And them Ultimo NFT memberships, they're sold out now, right?
Yeah, they're sold out. It's hard to get them. It's one. I think a few people hold more than one, so I know there has some been sold. But yeah, they're sold out. There will be no more sold. So what happens is, if you own an NFT, the rewards that come from the spending of the crypto from the card, 40% of the fees that's generated, it comes back to all the NFT holders, and it's paid out once a month, and that's how that happens. And we're, last month was like $64, but it's in the bear market, so I can imagine a bull market and what these fees could look like if people making some nice gains, And the same thing with ARK, same way. You know, in the bull market, ARK released their cards. People buying they're getting the cards, they're spending their crypto. It's coming back to the NFT holders, and that stuff is being paid out. You know, I can imagine what the returns can be also even with ARK. So, but yeah, for COA, I think they're doing like 40. They're doing 44. I know for my group, for the Crypto Cave, they're giving away 44 NFTs, 44 yards. So, you know, come to Crypto Cave and you can get a free yard for just doing setting up the interview. You don't have to pay nothing for it. Just watch the video and interview with Olo. And it's free, so it's not good for it.
Yeah.
And then you get access to that DAO. So they call it the Wells Lounge.
Nice. And you can still get an Ultimo card. You just can't be in the DAO and the NFT membership, but you can still purchase an Ultimo card. I think they're like $600-$700.
Yeah, something like that.
And then you just get the card, and you know it's cool because you guys don't know what the Ultimo cards are. It's a card where you can load your crypto on it, and it's attached to an offshore bank account. So it's pretty neat how you set that up. You send your crypto over there, and you can spend it anywhere. So pretty cool. And that's what Donatello is relating that to ARKFI, because their products are going to be similar, right? So when ARKFI comes out with a Terra card, it's going to be almost the same idea. You'll be able to load your crypto up and be able to spend it in real world. And he was talking about, you know, the fees. Not only there's going to be fees involved that are going to come back to the legacy NFT holders, but there's also going to be a referral system too set in place. So it's more ways to earn when coming to these ARK cards, the Terra cards, and these legacy NFTs here. They've been talking, actually, even I was tuning into the podcast tonight, and I mean, Atlas and Brett were talking that legacy NFT holders are actually they're going to be starting to perk up a little bit, and they're going to have some more revenue coming back to these, because even if you have these NFTs on ARKFI, silver, gold, platinum, you get a daily dividend on these NFTs. So each day you get a daily dividend every 24 hours. Now, the rewards started out really well, and now since they've dwindled a little bit, but basically Brett and Atlas are saying that the rewards are going to start to go back up once we start producing the Terra cards, ArcLight, external revenues. There's a lot of that. At least a third, how it's set up, is going back to legacy NFT holders. A third's going back to the treasury, and a third's going back to the ILC reserves. But yeah, it's really you got time, I guess, to say. There's still quite a few NFTs out yet for ARKFI, so you do have time to get your NFT. There are different levels, but I think they will sell out before the bull market. What do you guys think, Jashawn?
I think definitely once the revenue starts to come in, and you know, and then just going back to that conversation with Donatello, like the ultimate NFTs, there's a lot fewer. There's fewer than the ARK ones, but the ARK ones, you're getting revenue from all the other sources as well, right? And we've been getting paid out since day one. The other just main difference is the Ultimo card costs $600. You know, how many of your normal investors are going to spend $600 for an offshore bank account and a debit card? There's only a certain percentage, where ARK is gearing more towards a lower barrier to entry, right? It's not going to cost as much. It's going to be geared more towards your entry level investor. So they're really two different products. And I think from the perspective that we're being presented, you know, from the ARKFI perspective, right, is their goal is to put these out to more people, right? Everybody can afford to buy them. Everybody can use them. So it's not about the price up front, but it's about the quantity of the users and then the number of transactions. So I think it's going to start to really take off. And especially, like you said, as we get towards the bull market, more and more people come into crypto, you know, whether it's through stuff like ARCLight or whether it's through Base and Coinbase now with the PayPal stablecoin, people are going to want to have more opportunities and different options to, you know, to off ramp their crypto. So once this stuff starts to really ramp up, and again, once we get into the ARCnet, which in those privacy solutions, I think that the revenue here coming back to the NFTs can be really, really, I'll say lucrative, not financial advice, but definitely it's going to be better than it is now, I think.
Absolutely. Mighty's Dips, legacy NFTs. How many you got?
3.
Oh, nice.
So So far anyway. So I saw as well, and we mentioned it in our recent vid that someone else bought a platinum. So they're still going out the door. You know, despite the fact that the vault's struggling and what have you, the NFTs are still moving along all right.
Yeah, I
So,
mean,
yeah.
not financial advice, but they are a solid investment. And you know, since day one, they've been pushing. You know, like don't sleep on the NFTs. You know, they've been promoting these the whole time. You know, always hinting and always saying, you know, legacy NFT holders are going to get the lion's share of, you know, ARK as far as external revenue, as far as strategic investments. And first movers advantage. You got the secret DAO, so you can jump into the DAO, and you know, you get all the alpha and stuff. So definitely, there's a lot of ways to win with these NFTs for sure.
Yeah, and I for me, I believe like Johnny Fawcett said, don't sleep on these NFTs. I think that ARK, to me, I think ARK is just getting started. I think that the potential is so great, and everything. How I look at it is everything that they develop is going to benefit NFT holders. So you're going to win any way it goes. So, you know, not saying this is going to happen, but say that the ROI DAP said doesn't pan out the way we all expect it to pan out. Not saying it's going to happen. Don't get me wrong. I think it's going to be fine. And they have all these other products that's launching. All these rewards are coming back to NFT holders. So long as you have an NFT, you're gonna win in the long run. But I think when you buy the NFT, you just have to put it in your mind. You got to have the long-term perspective. Don't look at the now. Don't look at the 6 months from now. Don't look at the year from now. Look at maybe 5 to 10 years from now. That's how I would put it. Maybe 3 years from now. Look at the long-term perspective. Long-term perspective, you're going to make your money back if you have an NFT. So when you're buying them, just keep that in mind. Long-term perspective is very important.
Yeah, well said, Donatello. And yeah, I mean, I can't imagine where we'll be with ARKFI in 2-3 years. You know, these guys don't stop. They don't give up. They got a lot of vision. We still got ARKNet. We got we got the privacy solutions. We got
Gold-backed stablecoin.
Gold-backed stablecoin.
I mean, that idea on its own is massive.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because a lot of people don't talk about that. And I can remember when they first did the presentation, the roadmap presentation in the DAO. I was there for it, and I was like, I just couldn't believe it. I was blown away with that presentation. And once they started talking about having that gold-backed stablecoin and all the different benefits that came with it, and they had good comparisons too, like comparing it with Paxos, Pax Gold, right? So commodities, stablecoin commodity. Just think how that sounds, guys. You got to realize all this SEC stuff is because they're trying to claim that these tokens are securities. But if you're a backed stablecoin with a commodity, there's no wiggle room there, right, guys?
Yeah, true. And the issue is with things like Paxos is that some of their vaulting of their gold is in America, in New York. Obviously, that is a bit of a concern for some people. I know that the ARK team, I think they're looking at Singapore and somewhere else. I can't remember. But the idea is that, all of the gold holdings are all fully auditable and trackable and traceable on chain. So it's all sort of transparent. So I think there's a big market for a gold-backed stablecoin where the vaulting occurs outside of the United States, which is something, as far as I know, is not available openly on the market. But yeah, this sort of technology, this track tracing and auditable technology, is obviously transferable into other types of commodities. So I think the team will start with gold, and then it would make sense to do silver and potentially some other commodities. So that product on its own, because the way, as I understand it from the roadmap, and that was delivered, I guess, a few months ago now, so I'm just trying to remember, but my understanding is that there's sort of fee revenue every time someone transacts. Some fee revenues coming back to the vault, the treasury, the NFT holders. So yeah, it's an exciting product in and of itself, I think.
Definitely. And then
it's badly needed. It's badly needed.
100%. And it uses Chainlink, right? They were talking about it. Chainlink is
Yep.
what verifies it on chain, which is awesome.
Yeah. And everything's transparent. Every time gold moves into one of those vaults or moves out of one of those vaults, it's all on chain.
Yeah, and the I didn't know, but I'm in this DeFi Tonics training, and the technology is already there. I actually shared it with Atlas. He was like, "Yeah, you got it." So they already know about the technology is already out there, but they're going to be implemented into the ARK ecosystem, and I think it's mega. And then also with where the world's going, when you talk about the BRIC nations and them bringing gold back into the new standard and backing it by digital currency and all that stuff, the ARK team and how they're looking at things is they're kind of, I look at it as in they see what's coming and they're building what they see as it is coming, and they're kind of ahead of the game when it comes to the crypto industry and how people are developing things. There's not many people in the industry that's thinking ahead of the game like they are, because I see it. I'm around. Actually, this DeFi Talents has just opened up so much and allowed me to see so many things behind the scenes, even with regulation and all that, because they're kind of some of the people that's involved in that. They're a part of the regulation committees in certain areas, and then whenever they share things, I'm like, darn, the ARK team, they're on it. Like they see it, and they're kind of ahead of the game with what they're developing. So that's why I'm so excited about ARK, and I know many people don't see it. Some of us do, but like this is like a great opportunity. It's bigger than what we can even think or imagine.
Yeah, definitely. And that's another point. A DVPN, right? That's another one of their products that they're looking to launch. And I know everybody out there has heard of NordVPN. There's some other ones out there, and it's a big business, that VPN business. So the thing it is, in what they talk about, even NordVPN, as much as they want to say that they're decentralized, they're really not. They're actually centralized, and if push come to shove, they would give up your data if need, push come to shove. So with ARK, they want to come out with a decentralized VPN where you'll be able to use the VPN anonymously for real. Like this way is really decentralized. So I think that's another fantastic product that's well needed in the space. And like you said, Donatello, these guys are really reading the space. They're reading what the needs are out there for the technology and the innovation, and they're trying to maneuver through that and take into consideration of the risks and the rewards, right? Because you got regulation too. We got a lot of things coming down the pipeline, and I guarantee by this next bull market, we're going to have a whole crypto space. It's going to be a different crypto space, right? How much can you guys see in regulation and just how things are going to operate from with the election year coming and stuff like that? What kind of major changes do you think we'll see?
I mean, you can see anything as long in an election year. You're going to see a bunch of different stuff. You're either going to see it's going to end up being a partisan issue in the states, and it's going to be one side goes this way, one side goes this way, or it's going to just be an arms race to see who can push it first, and then everyone's going to trample over each other. That's kind of my view. But going back quick to your point with the decentralized VPN, that means they're going to need node operators. And those of us that are already invested in ARKNet, you're going to need a certain number of ARKNet to run those validators or to run those nodes, right? So it's like, again, there's another opportunity that's down the road. I think we're looking at Q4 maybe, but again, that's coming down the road. So those of us that contributed, or when there's maybe another round of private or public sales, that's a token that on its own, could 10x, could 20x, depending on the tokenomics, especially when you're coming into a bull run. If you look at some of the other projects and what they did last bull run, not that we're doing the DVPN side, but that you needed to run nodes, whether it was with decentralized storage or decentralized applications in your competitors with AWS, but through a decentralized cryptocurrency protocol, those coins just went absolutely nuts towards the end of the last bull run. Some of them did 50, 60x from where they were when the bull run started. So there's going to be opportunity there in that. So just, keep that in the back of your mind as we get forward and ARKnet, starts pushing forward towards release.
Yeah, I remember when I first came in to drip and stuff, the ROI DApp space, that another big narrative was running them nodes. There was a lot of them node projects that were actually paying out pretty well. You guys,
those were like fake nodes though. Those weren't real nodes. These are like legit real nodes with the utility. So if you can look at some of the stuff like Flux is one of the tokens where you can do, it's a competitor to AWS. It's a mineable coin. There's like library, Filecoin, some of those other storage ones. Those ones are like legit cryptos that actually have their own blockchains, which is where ARKNet's going when they build it on top of Polygon ZK EVM. It's not like these nodes for a service or whatever they were, these flash of the pan. You create this virtual node that essentially might just, it basically was a bunch of mini ROI dApps that you had to just keep creating on top of each other. This is like if you go bring up the chart on Flux and look what Flux was at the beginning of last bull run, and then look where it went to, and then look at the tokenomics. It's like coins like that, are hidden gems, and they have built-in utility from day one. So I can't wait to see what they do with ARKNet.
That's on Uniswap.
When I think of Flux, I think of Back to the Future, the movie, the Flux capacitor.
Look it up on CoinMarketCap. It's its own blockchain.
All right, we'll go over there.
It does have like a DeFi aspect to it where they do have it on different chains. But if you look it up on CoinMarketCap, you'll see what I mean.
This here?
Yeah, no, zoom out to all time. So at the beginning of the last bull run, it was down to like maybe 2 cents, and it pumped to $3. So if you had a big bag when it was down at that 2 cents, it made millionaires overnight.
Wow.
And then it still maintained 40 cents even in the middle of the bear market. I mean, a lot of it's tokenomics, but it's utility, because you need to hold Flux to run their nodes, and then their nodes, it's decentralized storage, similar to like AWS. So it'll be a similar concept, except ours will be a suite of products, right? It'll have storage, but not like the way that they're running it. And then it'll have the VPN, the email, all that other stuff. So we'll have a suite of products, but that basically was pure utility from the minute it was released. And that's, again, not financial advice. I'm not saying that ARKNet will do that, but that's an example of a coin that did that. And that's what it did last bull run.
Oh, that's awesome. So this is basically just a comparison to what ARKNet can be and what ARKNet can do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit different because these guys are a competitor to AWS, and you can actually run applications, you can run game servers, but it's a similar concept as far as having to have the token to run the node, and then you get paid out in the actual token. So it's like utility from day one.
Speaking of gaming coins, you guys have any exposure to the gaming coins like Gala or Alluvium? Anything like that? How about you, Buddies Dips?
No gaming tokens at the moment. I was looking at Star Atlas for a while, which is the Solana chain token. That was one SBF was very warm and fuzzy on, but yeah, I don't know. There's still a lot of outstanding supply with Star Atlas. I think there's only, hang on, about a third of the supply has come out now. Just looking now. That's an interesting one. I don't know where the project's at though, Star Atlas. I only looked at it like 6 months ago.
Is that this one here?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. I don't know where the project is at, but that was one I was looking at a little while ago on Solana.
Nice.
That's had a massive dump. Mind you, a lot of the gaming tokens have, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's the thing now. Like we're really in the, research and development phase where we got to go through and do some research on these projects and see what's going to make it through this bear market and has potential in the bull, right? This is the time, is to do your research, accumulate DCA, and that window's closing, right? So, yeah. I mean, what do we usually got until the Bitcoin halving? You want to be pretty much locked in with your altcoins?
Yeah, for sure. I had a little play around with. I bridged some funds over to Base Chain as well the other day, just to start to have a little snoop around there as well. Made a couple of buys, so I like to just sort of explore these things and see how they work and what have you. So Base Chain's one I'm looking at. A lot of rugs there at the moment.
I bought a couple on Base, and wasn't necessarily a rug, but one of the first exchanges there got exploited and basically killed the liquidity on every.
Which one was that?
Launched on it. I think it was Leet Swap.
Yeah, because I bought some Rocket Swap, not a lot of it, just to sort of test the waters over there on Base Chain. So yeah, I mean it's highly risky stuff at the moment, but
they had
my inner degen just couldn't help myself.
Well, they were launching stuff like left and right, and you were seeing like 100 X's, 1,000 X's. They had a version of X that was actually doing pretty well, but it launched on that Leet, and then someone figured out an exploit in the liquidity pools over there, and like all these tokens just completely, the liquidity was drained.
Unreal.
Does Base have a token, or is this something else?
I don't think they do they?
No, they don't.
They probably will.
Yeah, I'm sure eventually they will.
And I mean, I guess if you're an early user, you're probably going to get an airdrop. I mean, that's assuming that. I just haven't looked into it enough. I just thought, look, I'll bridge some funds over there. I'll start to have a little bit of a play around. Not too much money, just a few grand here and there, and just have a little bit of a play.
Sounds like a plan, man. Well, I think we covered quite a bit tonight, guys. Probably wrap it up here. Real quick, guys, sidebar. Tell these guys earlier, we're not going to do a giveaway tonight. We don't have too many people watching anyways. But what we are going to do, we're going down to New York. Let's see if you can see this. If you can see this, this is the bull down at the New York Stock Exchange. Okay, we got this last time we were there. But this time we're going to go back down there, and I'm going to get a bigger statue one, and it's going to be the golden bull. And what our plan is to do, we're going to build this channel. We're going to build up the community, and we're going to give away the bull. But we're going to wait probably around the Bitcoin halving. So you guys are going to love it. We're going to have it on here every week. We'll show the bull, and we'll just have a lot of fun with it, and we'll give it away. It'll be one of the giveaways we do. I just don't think I'm going to do a giveaway tonight. Drip's, a little bit depressing. So, yeah. And we're heading out. We're going down to New York City, New Jersey. We're going to a concert. We're going to go hang out in New York City this week. So we're going on vacation, Diva and me. So we're going to get away, guys. So we'll be back, though, next Saturday. We'll be here on the live stream. So you guys can definitely tune in next week. We'll be right back to normal schedule. We'll probably post some shorts. We'll try to do some videos on the road and stuff. So keep in tune with that. Make sure you hit that bell notification. So every time we go live or post a video, you'll get a notification. It's beneficial you do so because we do giveaways. So with that, any final thoughts, guys?
No, just I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday away. You deserve it. So and do pass my best on to the DeFi Diva. Have a great time, and looking forward to hearing about it all when you get back.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, 100%. Have a good drive down there. I didn't realize how close you guys actually were. You're a little closer than I am, so it'll be a nice drive, and enjoy the week, and then we'll see you Saturday.
All right. Sounds good, guys. All right. So thanks, everybody. Make sure you always do your own research. Again, we're not financial advisors. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this with your friends, sign up in our Telegram, the group chat, the whole 9 yards. You guys know how to get a hold of us. Friendly conversation, beginner friendly in that Telegram. Make sure you guys follow and like these guys too. These guys are both content creators, good friends of mine. They put out a lot of valuable stuff. So have a good time, everyone. And thanks for everything, for sure. Thanks for all your support from the community and everything. And we will catch you guys next week. Now let me see if I can get the music to play. I don't know why I didn't want to play earlier. I don't think it's going to play now either.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, take care. Thanks, Bitey Zips.
Take care.
Yeah, don't look good, guys. All right. Anyways, peace out, guys. Thank you guys a lot for tuning in, and we'll catch you next Saturday.